Hello and welcome to Crazy Food History, where we explore the world of food and drink. Many Americans like to think the United States has the best standards for clean and safe food. However, if we look closely, some mass production practices and the use of harmful chemicals may challenge that belief. Other countries are skeptical of food imports, claiming to be USDA approved. So let's discuss American foods that have been banned in other countries. Before you grab a bright yellow soda like Sundrop, take a moment to check the ingredients label. You might expect it to be packed with sugar and artificial flavors, but there's something else you should know. Some citrus sodas contain a substance called brominated vegetable oil, or BVO. This is used to keep the citrus flavor from separating in the drink, ensuring a consistent taste and texture. But here's the catch. BVO can have potential side effects. It contains bromine, which has been linked to problems like irritated skin, memory issues, and headaches. While PepsiCo and Coca-Cola have agreed to remove BVO from their products, you can still find it in Sundrop. Interestingly, the European Union and Japan have already banned the use of BVO in drinks. However, in the United States, it's still allowed in some beverages. So if you're concerned about BVO, it's essential to check the labels and be aware of what you're consuming. Instant mashed potatoes are a quick and easy meal option when you don't have much time or energy to cook. However, some instant potato products like Hungry Jack's mashed potatoes use a preservative called BHA to keep the food fresh and prevent the fat from going bad while sitting on the shelf. The worry is that BHA has been linked to possible cancer-causing effects, as mentioned by the Environmental Working Group. Even though it's still allowed in certain foods in the United States, the UK and Japan have decided to ban its use because of safety concerns. Preservatives are added to foods to make them last longer and maintain their quality. BHA is one such preservative used in some instant mashed potatoes. It helps prevent the fat in the product from being rancid and extends the shelf life so you can store it for a more extended period. However, the safety of BHA has come under scrutiny. Some studies have suggested that it might have the potential to cause cancer, and this has raised concerns among health organizations like the Environmental Working Group. Have you ever noticed how large the meat cuts are at your local grocery store? Well, it's often because of growth hormones that are used in U.S. farming to make animals grow bigger and faster. One such hormone, called ractopamine, is commonly used for pigs to increase their size before they're turned into meat. However, many countries around the world have decided to ban the use of ractopamine because they have concerns about its safety. Interestingly, the U.S. still allows the use of this hormone in farming, even though other countries have chosen not to. And this has raised some questions about whether it's safe for us to consume meat from animals that have been treated with ractopamine. The research on the human side effects of consuming ractopamine is limited, which means we don't have a complete understanding of its potential impact on our health. However, some studies have suggested that there could be a possible link between this hormone and an increased heart rate. So when you're picking out meat products, it's important to be aware of this and make informed choices. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the yummy chocolate and peanut butter treats loved by many, are banned in some European countries. The main reason for this ban is that peanut butter is a high-risk allergen. Food allergies can be really dangerous for those affected. Peanuts are one of the most common allergens, and eating them can cause serious allergic reactions in sensitive people. These reactions can be mild, like hives or itching, but they also can be severe, making it hard to breathe or causing anaphylaxis, which can be life-threatening. In the United States, where Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are popular, the law requires food allergens to be clearly listed on the packaging. Slim Jims, the popular beef jerky sticks, are banned in Norway due to their high salt content. The Norwegian government has set strict regulations on the amount of salt allowed in food products to protect public health. Excessive salt intake can have adverse effects on health, including an increased risk of hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and kidney problems. Norway, like many other countries, recognizes the importance of reducing salt consumption to promote better health and prevent related health issues. Slim Jims, being a processed meat product, tend to have relatively high salt content, which has led to their prohibition in Norway. Hormel Spam, a canned meat made from pork and ham, is not allowed in some countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. The main reason is that Spam has too much sodium, which is bad for our health. Sodium is added to processed meats like Spam to preserve them and make them taste better. But eating too much sodium can lead to problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. The World Health Organization says we should limit our sodium intake to keep our hearts healthy. Another issue is that Spam is processed meat, and eating lots of processed meats has been linked to a higher risk of certain cancers like colorectal cancer. The World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer says processed meats can cause cancer in people. So these countries have banned Hormel Spam to protect their people from these potential health risks. Jello, the yummy gelatin dessert, is banned from some countries like Japan because it contains a food additive called carrageenan. Carrageenan comes from seaweed and is used in the food industry to thicken and stabilize products like Jello, giving them a nice texture. The problem is that carrageenan has caused worries around its safety. Studies have found that certain types of carrageenan might harm our digestive system, causing inflammation and stomach issues. Some animal studies even suggest that exposure to specific forms of carrageenan could raise the risk of intestinal problems and cancer. To be cautious and protect people's health, some countries, including Japan, have decided to ban the use of carrageenan in certain foods, including Jello. Gatorade, a popular sports drink known for replenishing electrolytes, has faced restrictions in Europe and Japan because it contains a synthetic additive called brominated vegetable oil, or BVO. BVO is added to some citrus-flavored beverages like Gatorade to keep the flavors mixed evenly. However, BVO contains bromine, which has raised health concerns. One worry is that this additive can accumulate in the body over time since it's not easily processed by our bodies. The buildup in fatty tissues could be harmful. Experts are particularly concerned about how high levels of bromine might affect the thyroid gland's functioning. The thyroid is important for regulating our metabolism, and if it doesn't work properly, it can cause various health problems like weight changes and fatigue. To be safe, some countries in Europe and Japan have banned the use of BVO in food and beverages, including Gatorade. Coffee Mate, a popular creamer used to make coffee taste better, has been restricted in some European countries because it contains a chemical called diacetyl. This chemical has health concerns, especially for the lungs. Diacetyl is often used to give a buttery or creamy flavor to certain foods, including creamers. It has been linked to a lung condition called popcorn lung, or bronchiolitis obliterans. This condition was first noticed in workers at microwave popcorn factories who were exposed to high levels of diacetyl during their work. Popcorn lung is a serious lung disease that damages the small airways and causes inflammation and scarring. It can lead to breathing problems, coughing, and other respiratory symptoms. In some European countries, the popular drumstick frozen dairy desserts, those tasty ice cream cones with chocolate and nuts, have been limited because they contain too much saturated fat. Saturated fat is a type of fat that is not good for our health, especially when we eat too much of it. It is often found in foods like dairy products, meat, and certain oils like coconut and palm oil. While our bodies need some fat for important functions, too much saturated fat can be harmful. It has been linked to an increased risk of heart disease and other heart-related problems. When we eat too much saturated fat, it can cause our bad cholesterol levels to go up, which can lead to the buildup of plaque in our arteries. This buildup can narrow our arteries, making it harder for blood to flow through and increasing the chances of having a heart attack or stroke. We hope you've enjoyed learning about some of the foods that are popular in the United States but banned in other countries due to health and environmental concerns. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let us know what other food-related topics you would like us to cover.